Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Between Sermons, where we get to take the message from Sunday and turn that monologue into real dialogue, where we get to get a little bit more into maybe what this would look like if we were a small group and we were having a conversation about the message and how it applies into our lives. And so in order to have that conversation, though, we need some other people in the room. And so, hi, Taisha.
Hi,
How's
Pastor
my wonderful
Brent.
co-host doing?
I am well.
Did you have a good birthday?
Chat GPT. I did.
What was Chat GPT?
It felt like our dialogue was very Chat GPT.
Very robotic.
Robotic. No, it was good. My birthday was good. I had a nice couple days off, so I'm ready for the conversation.
Nice.
Yes. And today, to help us with this conversation, we have Marcus Ivy in the building.
Hey.
Is that why you wore your DC shirt? You knew we were going to be...
Nah, this is just a real comfortable shirt.
It's
Whoever picked out
comfortable?
the material did a good job.
Shout out to the merch team.
Yeah,
Shout out
that's
to
really
Pretty
good.
in the room.
Yep, very comfortable.
Awesome. Yeah. So how was your weekend? 4th of July? Fireworks? What happened?
Yeah, so my weekend was weird and kind of
Yeah.
unusual. So we had the Celebration of Life service for
Yeah.
my grandma. We did it in Michigan on Wednesday, and then spent some time with family, then drove back. So we celebrated the 4th here, but then Saturday it was immediately, we had a second service for my grandma and grandpa. Grandpa passed during COVID, like literally the day that it was like nationwide lockdown.
Wow.
Was the day he passed. And so we didn't really get an opportunity to celebrate him and his life. And so, so kind of not exactly like the most festive 4th of July, I guess. But it was good. You know, I think part of it too, we got to celebrate with more family than would be normal, just because people came in. So my brother, my sister, my uncle, their families all came together. And so that made it cool.
Yeah, it was good. It was nice to see your entire family here together.
Yeah, some people right now are like, wait, there's a brother?
Yeah. And you know, my son has already looked up your brother.
Has he? Oh yeah, he's probably has an IMDb page.
Right.
Yeah, so my brother works in the television industry, a bunch of different shows. He started off on the accounting side of things, and then he's kind of worked his way into more of the producer role of things. And so, be praying for him. He's got 2 possible shows, but one of them he doesn't really want to do, and one of them he would love to do, but it hasn't been greenlit yet. So somebody tell Amazon to get on that.
Yes, Amazon, get on it. Now. Prayer warriors start praying. I know. Your brother's like, thanks, bro.
But yeah, so 4th of July was good.
Yes.
My dog was born on July 3rd, so we got to celebrate him.
Good job, Duffy.
So I'll never forget your birthday.
Yes, we share a birthday.
You share
I
a
forgot
birthday
to
with my
call
dog.
Duffy.
Yeah, you didn't call him
for
on his birthday. I mean, I text you on your birthday. You didn't text him.
Wait, and their text was like, I heard a little birdie told me it was your birthday. Okay. Tweet.
Oh, the Facebook bird? No, that's Twitter.
Twitter. Twitter's gone. You know,
I don't ever know what to like.
I know.
Happy birthday.
Right.
But no, it was a good. How was your 4th?
It was cool. We had planned this just awesome luau.
Okay.
My wife had multiple Amazon boxes come to the house.
Okay.
Which are probably still there, which we never used because at the last minute, we was like, you know what, we just want to chill.
So you canceled the party?
Yeah, we canceled the party. Yeah.
Did you cancel the party, or did you guys cancel the party?
No, she actually canceled the party.
Okay.
See, I had nothing to do with the cancellation of that. Yeah, so we just kind of sit back. So we just kind of
Amazon's really good at returns, man. I'm just saying.
But she already got ideas.
She already got plans.
Yeah, she got plans. So we're gonna have a luau one of these days. Okay. So we just kind of hijacked the neighbors. So we hijacked the neighbors' music, their fireworks, and their barbecue smells.
Their smell. Oh, wow.
Chilled in the backyard. I threw some kebab. I didn't want the traditional ribs and brats and all that stuff. So I just did like some steak, chicken, and salmon kebabs.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yep, and just hijack the neighborhood's festivities.
That is some real grown-up stuff. Like, you know what? We want to chill today. Party canceled.
It's over with. Yeah.
I will say I did the cooking for our 4th of July, and apparently my baked mac and cheese was so good, my sister took it on the plane with her to go back to Florida.
Yes.
So like when you get somebody to take your mac and cheese cross state lines,
yes,
you know it was worth eating.
So I've never had your mac and cheese because I can't do dairy.
Yeah.
But a couple times, when there's like community activities there, I've seen it and it looked like, I don't know if I can say this. It looked like black people
I think
you got that so mad.
How do I say this?
I believe that I should be invited to the cookout. I'm just gonna put that out there.
If you got mac like that, you can come.
It looked like it could hang with some big dogs. So
I make my sauce. Okay. There are spices and seasonings in it.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It's flavorful.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Noodles is cooked. I mean, it looked like it can roll, but
he bring the word in.
He bring the word and could cook some macaroni and cheese.
I think that's all we need to cover for the podcast today.
No, I think that this is fitting for just the fun series we have right now, which is At the Movies.
Yeah.
Our church, DC, we love At the Movies. And so now we're in this new series, and you've kind of had this great idea to model the movies we've chosen for this series to go with the Get in the Game campaign. So
yeah, it was kind of funny. It was one of those where we kind of stumbled into it. So I think we had a list of like 20 movies that we could do. Now I will be on record as saying 2024 was a really bad year for movies. Like it was like all the movies on our list were like, there was no big blockbuster movies. There's no big moments. It was all like what went straight to Netflix and Amazon. Like it was
everything,
just like everything.
Yeah.
Like
I
think the only thing that was like big was what Wicked was on there, and we're like, we can't do Wicked.
No, we can't do Wicked.
And so I was looking at our list of like these 20 movies, and at least half of them were like sports related.
Yeah,
and I was like, I think there might be something there. I think we could do something. We could salvage this bad year for movies.
Yeah,
but yeah, at one point we talked about turning it into like a At the Movies classics or something, because it was like the movie list was so weak.
Yeah. No, but I think we did.
We landed on 4 good ones.
It was.
I'm happy with them.
And the one you did yesterday, You Gotta Believe, I think it was good. Have you seen the full movie, Marcus?
I haven't.
Okay.
I need to watch it. But just looking at some of the clips, it's like, man, should I watch this by myself?
Yes.
With the
it's
tissue.
one of those, with the tissues kind of.
Watch it by because you don't want to. You don't want to lose your card.
I mean, there's something about a dad who's dying and his kids, his boys.
That's
are there.
next level.
Yeah, that'll just send me over. So
it was tough. It was definitely tough. But it's a really good movie. I don't even remember where you can watch it. It might be on Netflix.
I believe it's Netflix.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people left service and went home and watched it, so it's available somewhere.
Yeah, you need to become like an influencer, because I promise you, every time you say something like ice cream,
right.
Now the movie,
we got churro Sundays, that meat masher, man. The number of people that got a meat masher.
Listen, let me start working on some campaigns for you, okay?
You need that Amazon affiliate link every time I talk about something.
Do. So how did you choose this movie? Or maybe a better question, how does this movie relate to Get in the Game? What was kind of like the setup there? Yeah,
so obviously the movie, it's a baseball movie.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of Sandlot, which just, I think that right there, like the fact that they had the Ham Porter cameo, like I was just like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
And so just watching this group of underdogs who are struggling to kind of, it's like that classic story. They're struggling to figure out who they are, where they fit on the team. The team is trying to do something that is really beyond their reach.
Yeah.
And yet, because they come together as a team, they're able to get a lot further than people would expect. Try not to spoil the ending.
Yeah.
But what I loved about the movie was just that team dynamic. And it, like, I don't know if you guys played sports when you were kids, but like I played baseball as a kid, and there's something just amazing about the team coming together.
Yeah.
And so watching that and just thinking about where we are as a church, and I mean, yesterday was a pretty good indication that like we have to add another service. If you came to the 11 o'clock service, hopefully you got a parking space and were able to come into the building, because sadly we had a bunch of people that they circled around. And everybody had already double parked and parked on the curbs and in the grass and everywhere that you could possibly fit a vehicle. And we had people that literally had to leave and not be able to get into service, which that just, and somebody's trying to go to church and they can't. That's awful. And so as we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we add another service? How do we maximize our building more? Like, we know that we need people that are not currently serving to step into that role, if we're going to pull this off. And so it became like, this movie became the perfect bridge between the Get in the Game series and the start of the At the Movie series.
It
was. The rest of them, even though there's team dynamics, they might not be quite as Get in the Game as this one. But it felt like just the perfect bridge.
Yeah. So I do have some questions here. Marcus, when you think about the title, You Gotta Believe, it's such a bold statement. What does it really mean to believe in something bigger than yourself? And how has that helped shape your life as a believer?
Wow, that's a banger right off of that. How do I say that again? Bring it
want me to slow it down?
Yeah,
okay.
Slow it down.
So when someone says like, you gotta believe, how does that correlate to believing in something bigger than you?
You gotta believe. I think when that's presented to you, you have to move yourself out of the way. Because when I have to believe on my own strength or anything like that, I'm coming up with excuses. I'm coming up with my insecurities. I'm coming up with everything. So you know, it's almost, I don't know if I can say that on here, I believe I can fly, that type of thing. You know, no shout out to him or whatever. But that just coming out of who you are. To really tapping into what do you believe in? Because myself, I can't do anything. But if I come out of my comfort zone, all those things that we've been talking about, that belief and how has it shaped my walk, my Christianity is not doing it on myself, not doing it on my own. Really believing in God, really believing, allowing Holy Spirit to have His way in me. Just really believing, and it's not. It may sound cliche-ish, but it's the truth. Not believing on my own strength and saying, you know what, I can't do this, I can't do anything without Him. So that belief, just that total belief and knowing that God is going to do everything. That's that's more than I can imagine or possibly dream about.
Yeah, no, that's good, Pastor Brent. So we have a vision here for Disciples Church. Like, how does that correlate with moving people to get involved to help that vision?
Yeah, so our vision statement, it's these 4 things. We stole the language from another church of the Highlands, and then just kind of tweaked it a little bit for our context. But it's a very biblical statement. You see these 4 things kind of repeated in several places in the Bible, in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, that it really becomes these 4 things that it seems like God just really wants for everyone. And so the 4 things are that you would know God, find freedom, grow in purpose, and make a difference. And so the where this ties in is in that making a difference. That inside each of us, we've been designed, we've been knit together with this core, driving force that we want to matter. Like it's present in everybody. Some people feel it stronger than others. Some people will try and suppress it. And for a lot of people, though, what happens is the longer you go in life ignoring it, the more just empty and kind of lost that you're going to end up feeling. Which, for me, like watching the movie, so the 2 main coaches, the 2 main characters, you got the dad who's got terminal cancer, and you've got his best friend that he's grown up with and all of this. And the best friend is kind of in a place in life where he's just going through the motions, right? He works for this law firm, but it's just always filling out paperwork and doing stuff, like not feeling fulfilled. But because he's watching his friend face the end of his life, it's causing him to start and think through, like, what am I actually doing with my life? My friend is about to die. He doesn't have a tomorrow, but I still do. Like, what am I doing with it? And I think in this movie, it sparked for me just that desire to want to make a difference, that you want your life to matter. You don't want to just take up space. You want to do something. And I use the John Maxwell quote. It's one of my favorite. I mean, anything by John Maxwell is going to be a banger quote.
A banger, yes.
But 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness is just, it is so good. Yeah. And I think that's the reality of life is you were created with this urge and this desire to make a difference, but you can't do it by yourself. Like, you have to have a team. And you can go all through history, and every person that you could point at and be like, but they did amazing things. I promise you.
They had a team.
There was a team of people around him. Michael Jordan wasn't on the court by himself. Steve Jobs wasn't making the iPhone by himself. Like, there's been somebody either behind the scenes or right next to them. There's been other people involved because that's how God designed us. Yeah. It's you get a part and you get a part, and it doesn't actually work until you put the parts together.
Yeah. I like how you kind of spoke about yesterday, you know, you being you being a pastor, but it takes the production to do things. It takes other people, other layers to do things. You know, that was amazing because, you know, we're first of all, we're not in it by ourselves. And just having that support around you, it takes what God has given you further. And no matter what, not just being a preacher, but no matter what it is, if you're a giver, you bring other people around you, you just give more. So that was an awesome way. I love how you put that.
I mean, it's like this podcast right now. Like, there's 3 of us on screen having a conversation. But there's 2 people behind the cameras that if they weren't doing their part, like, this wouldn't happen. But then there's also a team. There's Brett, who's going to be actually uploading things. And it's like, so we could all do our job.
But if Brett
doesn't do his job,
it don't even matter.
It's like, oh, oops.
That's so
you guys recorded a podcast? Awesome. It's sitting on a hard drive somewhere. Good luck.
Right.
Yeah, like, so, like, it's when everybody starts doing their part together that good things happen. And so the phrase that we use in Growth Track, which shout out to anybody that's listening right now that hasn't been to Growth Track. Marcus is waiting for you.
Let's go.
In fact, this coming Sunday will be step 2, which unapologetically I tell everyone is the best step. Is my favorite step.
Step 2 kind of brings me back to a moment when I was kind of first saved, and it was that kind of watershed moment one of my pastors used to say, and I was at home, and it was like I'm saved, like, you know, I'm excited about it being saved, but what do I do with this salvation? And so I'm like literally on my bed, like crying, like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing?
Wow.
And it's just like other people start coming along, and, you know, like my teaching gift was developed and things like that. So it's to get in the game and to know what your gifting is, your spiritual gifts and stuff like that. We told the people who completed step 1, like, next week is going to blow your mind. And it was cool because a lot of them haven't taken a spiritual gifts test or personality test. So it's like you get to that point where you really see who you are. And it's a small test, but it does amazing things.
I need to retake that test.
Yeah, come on.
You actually should.
You can start.
I need to.
So that's actually kind of a rabbit trail moment, but people should, like, retake spiritual gifts tests and especially personality profiles, where spiritual gifts, you'll see some fluctuation, more so because of your personality coming out, like, and the season of life you're in. But, like, the personality, like, it really does, like, your surroundings really do shape your personality more than you realize. And so, like naturally, so in the personality profile we do, it's called the DISC test, and we do a truncated version. You could take the full version, you just have to pay for it. But like our shortened version of it, I think does a pretty good job of giving you like a kind of a ballpark of where you are. But on that test, in my natural setting, I'm probably a CS, like just naturally. But because I've been in leadership roles for the last probably 15 years of ministry, most of the time when I take personality profiles today, I'll either be a DC or a CD. And it's because, like, the requirements on me has caused certain things in me to come out stronger. And so, like, you can actually see, depending on where you're working, what your responsibilities are, the relationships you're in, you can actually see how your personality can kind of fluctuate a little bit. So, yeah, you should.
I'm scared to take it at this point. I'm just playing.
You don't want to know yourself?
I don't want to know.
Come on.
Because then I'm going to have to be held accountable to what I know.
But yeah, so that's step 2 is going to be great. But I just realized I brought that up for a reason. It's because in step 4, we have this phrase that we break down that says, I want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference with people who are making a difference. And so really that's, for me, that's the heart behind the message on Sunday. It was really just to get that thought process across to people that, hey, I do want to make a difference, and I want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference. Like, I don't want to just make a difference because I save people money on their insurance.
Right.
Like, yeah, you made a difference, but it's like, did it really matter at the end of the day? But when you can make a difference in somebody's life that really matters for all of eternity, like, I want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference. and then ultimately with people who are making a difference. That it's getting on that team, it's getting around other people, and you're using your gifts and they're using their gifts. And when you're struggling, they can encourage you. When they're struggling, you can encourage them. And it's just, teams are awesome. I love teams. But I was baseball in elementary, football in high school, and teams just been my thing. Jam. Yeah. And then the internship I was part of, it was all team-based. And so we had teams that were divided out into, and
I was football my whole life, pretty much since the age of 6 throughout college.
Nice.
And then track. So being a team has always been, real important. Yeah. Real important to me.
Yeah, I was on a relay team actually with a member of Disciples Church.
Oh, okay.
We're in a 4-man. I think we did the 4x4, if I remember.
Wow.
I think he was the anchor.
He can cook, he can preach, he can run.
Not no more. You know why I can't run no more?
Because you've been cooking.
Cook too good. I can cook too good. You can't run no more.
That is so funny. No, I think that's good. That team element is good. I like how you brought that out from the message yesterday. Like, we all play an important role. Sometimes people can feel like their role isn't significant or it doesn't matter, and I love that you took time to say like, no, like it does. And roles change.
Yes. And because of the message, we have so many people, sometimes it just takes that coach to like kind of fire you up to get those things on the inside going. Sometimes those are they just lay their dormant, and it's like, okay, what do I do? Sometimes you need someone to pull it out of you. Like, come on, let's do it. So I think that's what we have in a lot of churches. People that's not really pulling out to get.
That's good.
Like, come on, let's get it. It's not just for Sunday, but although we do need it for Sunday, but man, let's get in the game. Let's do this. Like, we got a lot to do.
Yeah. What do you think? Some things that hold, like, I feel like in 2025, and I always go back to here because I feel like the world is just so different. Like, just people involvement in church and what positions people want to play. Like, what do you think holds people back from like really joining a team? Like, what are some roadblocks or some things that they may encounter to be like, I don't know, I want to be the leader of the team, I don't want to just play the team? Like, what are some things that people may encounter when thinking about joining a team?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. We actually did a wonderful series called Get in the Game.
Yeah.
Where we basically addressed the barriers for that. Like, so we put limits on ourselves of like, well, I can't do this.
Yeah.
We make excuses for why now's not a good time to do this. Or we just ultimately we're just like, I'm too comfortable where I am, and I don't want to get uncomfortable by doing things. And so I think that those are still probably the 3 biggies.
Yeah.
Like it's the limits we place on ourselves, it's the excuses we make, and it's just that comfort, that battle. Man, I don't know if it's a third world or a first world problem or what, but it's just Americans, man, we like to be comfortable.
We do.
And serving is about the most uncomfortable thing you can do. And it's good, and you're going to get benefits from it, and you're going to enjoy elements of it, but it requires you to put comfort aside.
Yeah.
Which this is a great sales pitch. Everybody's going to be like, I can't wait to go serve and be uncomfortable.
No, and I think that comfort goes hand in hand with just, I don't want to say being selfish, because I think that could be harsh, but we are kind of like
We're selfish.
Yeah, we're selfish.
We're selfish. And I'm trying to say it the nice way.
We create our own silos.
Yeah.
We invite in who we want to invite in, and we're selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the duality of man. There's this internal battle where we want to make a difference, but we also want to be self-centered and self-focused.
Yeah.
And it's just, who's going to win? It's in that battle, like what happens? The battle between the flesh and the spirit, the battle between selfishness and self-focus, and the battle of I want to make a difference. Like it's always raging.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to be selfish in 99.9% of situations. Yeah. Like, and I don't think you're being harsh in saying it, or maybe I'm just super harsh, but it's just the reality of human beings.
Yeah.
Like we're selfish.
Like get somebody else to do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to teach self-centeredness. Like babies come out.
You're born with that.
Being like, it's about me now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so you have to work at not being selfish.
Dying to your flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take up your cross daily.
Daily. Have we done that message for Be One Make One yet? Like,
yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it over. But that would be like Die Daily need to be like a host.
Die Daily.
Welcome to
so much fun.
Church. Die Daily.
Welcome.
People would just be beating down the door. When can we get part 2 of Die Daily?
Die Daily.
I need more.
No, it just came to me. It's maybe God speaking to me.
Maybe.
But I like how you used Ephesians 2:10 yesterday. It reminds us that we were created to do good work. So how do you personally discern those things that are good works for your current season?
So I don't know how much discernment is needed.
Yeah.
And that's why I would like the hesitation there. So like I think the Bible like lays out a lot of what the good works are. And so we do those things. We keep talking about them. We probably need to do a series on the one another.
Yes. No, that would be good. Another.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, so there's 60, but some of them are like duplicated.
Yeah.
Like he'll say love one another a bunch of times. Yeah. But like you never have to like check in with the Holy Spirit first. Like, should I really love this person? Yeah, you should love them like Jesus loves them. Like that's part of like the instruction. Should I be generous? I don't know. Holy Spirit, do you think I should be generous? Yes, you should be generous. Like it's, and so like there's some things that I think sometimes maybe we over spiritualize or we kind of overcomplicate, and it's just like no, like you should just be doing like serve the poor, serve the needy, take care of the widows and the orphans. Like there's a lot of good works that are just very evident. Share the gospel. Care for people who are hurting, laugh with those who laugh, but weep with those who weep, right? Like, so there's a bunch of things that we just need to be doing. And when it comes though to like, man, what's the specific thing that I'm wired for? Maybe you could say that requires more discernment. And I think that's where like going to something like Growth Track is going to help. As you figure out your wiring, it kind of helps you figure out how you should serve. I try and caution people that like that spiritual gifts test, personality profile test is not going to tell you where to serve, right? But it will tell you how to serve,
right?
Within the space. What tells you where to serve is what are you passionate about, and what are you good at? Like more than anything else, it's your passion and it's your giftings. So like, and that passion, that gifting, it could work with positive things or negative things. Like it could be like, man, every time I see somebody that's homeless, it breaks my heart. And I'll end up thinking about that person all day long. It's like, okay, you should do something about that.
Yeah.
Like that's clearly there's a passion or a drive for you to meet a need in that space. And so figure out what's the thing that just, it bothers you in the world. And do something about it.
Yeah.
I like the ending of that scripture says, which God's prepared in advance for us to do.
That's good.
Like it's already been prepared. Like from the foundations of the world, everything that we are called to do, it's already been prepared in advance.
Yeah.
And it's that doing those things, research, kind of seeing who am I, how am I wired, what am I good at, what are my passions and desires. It's already there. It's like ragu. It's in there.
Ragu?
Come on now.
Come
on, ragu.
We just gotta do it. It's already prepared.
Yeah, I like to say that there are Brent-shaped problems in the world. Like, God created this thing for me to do. Then He created me. So like, it's not about me trying to figure out what I want to do. It's what was I made for?
Yep.
That's a whole that's a whole message. Because
what was I made?
What was I made to do?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, Tasha,
I got a T-shirt that says I was made for this.
Yeah.
And I get stopped every once in a while when I'm wearing it. And she's like, "What's
what were
this?
You made for?
What are you made for?
Bring clarity.
You just know it.
I am today. I'm confident in that. Tomorrow, who knows? But no, because it was something I was thinking about in working on the message. Because I used to always tell people I'm a problem solver, and I am. Like that's part of my gifting, and it doesn't matter what the problem is. If there's a problem, my brain just will not stop until a solution is found. It doesn't always have to be a great solution, but I cannot stop until I find.
Wow.
All right, this might work. All right, then we can move on. But that's just the way I've always operated. If there's a problem, I come alive. If there's no problems to solve, I actually feel horrible. Like I get bored. I get easily sidetracked and distracted by stuff.
This is so
I've got like, if there's no problem to solve, like I got no drive. Like I'm just like, what's the point? Like,
did you play with Rubik's cubes?
Oh yeah. So like when I was in elementary school, they took me and like 4 or 5 kids out of the class to go into this other room where like they literally just gave us boxes of puzzles, like word puzzles, block puzzles, like all kinds of weird things. And it was, I have no idea what the point of that class was, but like I always got to skip classes,
right?
And we got to do fun things. And we took like our SATs at like 8. Like it was fun. But so like I've just, that's the drive to solve problems has just always been there. And so I always thought that was the thing. And then I was around a bunch of people like, no, Brent, you got this teaching gift. And I'm like, I don't have a teaching gift. Like, come on, stop it. And it never really felt like the right thing. And then I realized that it's neither of those things. It's clarity. But clarity comes across as problem solving or teaching. Right? Because what I'm trying to do is I want to bring, there's a mess, and I want to untangle the mess. Or there's a scripture, and I want to help you understand it. Right? I want to bring clarity to people, places, things, and scripture.
How did you get to this place? Because I want to take the same test.
So the clarity thing literally has just been in the last few months.
Okay.
I've kind of been able to articulate it.
Okay.
Like to put a finger on it and label it. It's clarity. And honestly, you could ask the same question of me in a year, and I'd be like, I don't know what that Brent was thinking. Like, that's not even it. Like, here's what it really is. Like, I don't know, man. We're still figuring this thing out.
Go around the room. I think.
And I do stand by. So I've used this in teachings before, that when God gives you purpose, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
And He doesn't always give you all the pieces at the same time.
That's true.
And so like, you could be putting together a picture, and you're looking at the number of puzzle pieces you have, you're looking at what you're putting together, and you're like, oh, He gave me a 50-piece puzzle, and I've got 48 pieces, this is great. And then you turn 40 years old, and God's like, oh, it's actually a 2,000-piece puzzle, and I just forgot to give you all of these, so here you go, have fun. And it's like, I've met people that are in their 60s, 70s, 80 years old, and they're still getting new puzzle pieces out. And they're the purpose and the destiny and the thing that they're supposed to be there for, it's evolving and it's changing, and there's new elements of it. I'm getting to witness that firsthand with my parents.
Yeah.
You know, from going from the senior pastor of the church to stepping in as founding pastor of the church and moving into more missions work. And it's like, some of the things that they're doing are things that they've always done, but now they're doing it in new ways or in different places, and they're adding some things to what they do, and it's kind of cool to be able to see how that evolves and changes over time. So don't feel like you're locked in. Like, my first role in ministry was youth ministry, and I was like, I'm going to be a lifelong youth pastor. Like, I was like, I don't need to do the whole like climb the ladder and go from youth pastor to young adults pastor. It's a legit thing in church world. It's like it's like 90% of youth pastors are using it as a stepping stone to the real ministry, and it's like, that's so dumb. But and part of it was there was a youth pastor. Oh man, I'm blanking on his name. Doug Fields. There's a youth pastor when I was just starting out in youth ministry that was like the senior veteran guy, and I remember watching him. And he was like probably in his 40s or 50s, still doing youth ministry in an age where it was like, if you were 25, you were too old for youth ministry,
right?
Like, and he's in his 40s and he's still doing it, and it was just like, man, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna do that.
40's kind of young.
Yeah, it is.
41 is probably no longer.
I feel like I'm still actually okay. We're not even gonna go there, but yes, I feel like 40's young. But that's a good story.
Yeah, but you're in your 40s.
Right, you're in your 40s.
I'm in my 40s now. I'm 41.
I'm not in my 40s until September. I'm 40.
Yep.
But
anywho,
Marcus is like, stay on the 40 conversation.
Right. I'm 50.
Don't come over there.
I'm 50.
I'm gonna leave you alone. I've been doing good.
Come on now.
I've been doing good. I think that's really good, Pastor Brent. And I guess like one of the things I feel like I'm gifted at is encouragement, and like I love to make things look good. And so just thinking about this message and how you even talked about it in your message yesterday, it stirs up people. So how can we just, use our lives as testimonies to stir up people to get involved in serving their local church and serving this body? What are some ways that you feel like you can start helping people get stirred to do that?
I mean, I think we have to be excited. Sometimes we get into ministry and it becomes this just duty. So I think we have to get out of this duty mentality.
How we do that? You need to unpack that, because that's a whole conversation. No, that's this conversation. It's not a duty.
It becomes a duty when we know that we're doing it unto the Lord.
Yeah.
It becomes not a duty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So when we're in this duty mode, we're just, sometimes we can get into people pleasing. Sometimes we can get into just the routine of doing stuff. Yeah. But no matter what it is, sweeping floors, once we get into that joy of doing it unto the Lord, coming to church, singing your worship music, whatever your ministry is in, don't complain about the lighting, don't complain. Everything I'm doing unto the Lord. And that's where the joy comes in. So other people see your joy, and they see the freshness of it, and then they should be drawn to that. Oh man, Ruben, he's doing this, or look at the ushers, look at the greeters and everything like that. So it should be this electric, refreshing feeling about just ministry. It's not a duty. It's not just because I'm here I'm going to do it. It's something that we get to do to glorify God and everything. So if we can keep that mindset, and other people will see like, oh man, they not just complaining around here. Oh, they doing this. Look at them. He outside standing in the rain, opening up doors. Oh man, I could do that. So it's almost like that energy, that keeps going and just bring people in. So, yep.
That's good.
Yeah, something that helped me with that is to get to a place where I don't complain about things.
Oh, yes.
Instead, I use it as maybe I should do something about that.
Yep.
Like, instead of complaining, oh man, the floor's a mess.
Yeah.
What if I just picked up some trash?
Yep.
Right? And so just shifting that mentality, I think, helps, instead of just trying to point, because it was funny. We're kind of talking about this over the weekend, just talking about family and how we are, and like, there's something in the McQuay or the Hanson genes. It's like we can be very critical, very easily. Like you can point things out and be like, and for me, I always tied it into I'm a problem solver, so I see the world as problems to be solved. But I think there's just a little bit of this critical nature where it's like it's very easy to just point out what's missing, what's wrong, what's broken, and so like I had to start training myself to stop doing that and start meeting the need. Like the thing I was pointing out, there was a need there.
Right.
That's
right.
Good.
So I could tell everybody, hey, somebody should do something about that.
Yep.
Or I could just go do something about that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd probably cut out the middleman and I'd just go do something about it.
And we probably have a lot of people in not just our church, but in the churches who do that. When maybe you're complaining about an usher, or they're doing this, they're leading me. Well, you probably can do it. Let's see if you can do it better, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you can fit in and help them. Maybe they're overwhelmed with 500 people coming in on Sundays, and maybe you can be the 10th person that they need to help go.
We've had some great children's workers over the years join. So my wife and I, we used to be children's pastors, and man, we had some people a couple times where they were like, man, the classroom is just chaos in there. Like it's just not enough. And I was like, well, it's because there's not enough teachers. Like, oh, you need more teachers? I'm like, yeah, I do. You look like a good one.
And then
That's good.
It could be a simple invitation like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do get in this routine of doing. And so we don't even invite anyone in to take away the stress, to take away the whatever job that you have that you can give to somebody else. So we're just carrying everything, and we don't care about it.
Yeah. Now that's a whole conversation. I was actually going to say, we talk a lot about those who should come in and join. How can we encourage the leaders of these different teams to be open, accessible, and willing to train up the next generation coming in?
Yeah, there's a book, I think it was a Bill Hybels book, that it's not even about this subject matter, but the title of the book is Walk Across the Room, or something. It might be a variation of that, but it's the concept of the book is to walk. And it like, for me, reading that book as a young leader, I realized, because of my personality and like there's always work to be done, there's always stuff, I could find myself walking very briskly or sprinting through the building. And so we have to learn how to just walk and be a little bit more slow in some situations, some settings, so that we have a chance to see people and connect with people. And I think ultimately, and this maybe answers that question, maybe answers the previous question, we've got to remember that we're putting people over projects. And so sometimes, for me, this is another flaw of Brent. We're just talking all about my issues today.
Yeah, because I'm learning a lot,
session.
Thank
you so much. I appreciate it. It was just a very emotional weekend, so I needed this therapy session. So I am my personality profile is very project-driven. So there's kind of a breakdown of, are you more people-focused or are you more task-focused? And so I'm a task-focused person, which my wife is the opposite. So like, I walk into a room and I see, the trash on the floor. I see the sign that's crooked. I see the thing that needs to be changed. I see the thing that needs to be started. She walks in a room and she sees Taisha and she sees Marcus and, I haven't seen you forever. And so like, she walks in the room seeing the people. I walk in seeing the thing that needs to be done. Yeah. Which means when we have like a staff meeting or something, I'll walk in the room and I'm like, all right, guys, agenda item number 1, let's go. And Sol walks in the room and she's like, so tell me about your weekend and how was life and what's going on. And so I can get through an hour-long meeting and we have solved every problem, but nobody is connected in any way. Sol can go through a 1-hour meeting and nobody has solved a single thing, but everybody is way more connected. Yeah. And it's just our two personalities. We have the extreme ends, which makes it fun when we come together because we can kind of meet in the middle. But because that's my nature, I can end up putting projects over people where I'm trying to accomplish the task, but I'm focused on the task, not on the people. And so I have to force myself, and I encourage others to do the same, to remember it's about people, not projects, even when your job may be to clean the bathroom. And you may be looking at that job and saying, well, my job is to clean the bathroom. It's not. Like, your job is to prepare a space for people that are coming in. And when the person comes into the bathroom and it's a mess, it becomes a distraction. When it was stinky in there and there wasn't the thing that I needed and all this, like, you have a bad experience in the bathroom. Now you're going into worship with a grudge, with a, this thing in the back of your head, and then you're listening to the sermon, but all you're thinking about is, man, they don't even know how to restock toilet paper. Right. You're like, what? And so, like, now that person has completely missed what's happening because they were distracted by an environment issue. And so even like for our facilities guys and for people that serve in areas that they may not be very people focused, they really are still people focused because it's all about creating that space for them. So across the building, we're creating opportunity for people. Like I had somebody years ago that was they were complaining because I'm not going to name any names, but they're complaining. They were serving in our children's ministry at registration, the registration desk. And they're complaining because there was this family that just kept coming in like week after week with like 10 minutes left in the service. And they're like, by the time I process them for registration, it's time for them to pick up their kid. Like it's a waste. Like I've already shut down all the system stuff and now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I fit them in the classroom? And they were complaining about it and they were frustrated. And I pulled them aside one day and I just reminded them, like, what if the 10 minutes of service that they're able to get to is exactly what they needed today? Like, what if they've just had a rough week and they're going to walk in that room just as the altar call is happening, just as we invite the altar ministry team to come on down to the front to pray for anybody that has a need? And what if that mom just walks in the door, walks straight to the altar, and gets prayer? Would it be worth it for you to check in their kid so that they could have that moment without their kid pulling on them? Ouch. 100% worth it.
Yeah.
And so we can't lose sight of, we do this for people.
Yeah. It's that sharpening piece that you talked about in your sermon yesterday, like iron sharpening iron. So that's good. And one way is to help each other see the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So let's Pastor Brent. I was gonna say let's land this plane.
You're always trying to land that plane, and like we're like still in takeoff mode, and she's like, land it.
No, I'm not trying to land it.
No, I think it's because by nature I like long podcasts.
I know.
I like to just sit and listen,
talk and chill.
Yep.
Like, no, I got stuff to do.
No, I don't have stuff to do. No, because when we get to our takeaway parts, that can add another 15 minutes to it. So I do
have to pick up a cat.
You do. So I'm being gracious with
Thank you so much.
Yes, I was watching the time for you. So let's land the plane. I love to close out with takeaways from the sermon that we had an opportunity to hear yesterday. So because you preached it, we're going to have you go last.
Okay.
And we're going to start with you, Marcus. What's a takeaway?
Yeah. So It's a lot in that movie. The ending where he was talking about when he was kind of talking about death and things like that. But and I think just being fulfilled, having that fulfillment as a believer, kind of in the movie where I don't know exactly where, but it's almost like we all have something that we can do. Mm-hmm. It's not nothing too big or nothing too small. Everyone has a position on the field to play in, and regardless of whatever your position is, it's important. So just coming and having that smack dab thing, like, okay, what am I doing before I die? Am I making a difference? That like hit like real hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you get 50. It's like have I done enough, and am I doing enough?
Yeah.
Am I on the right team? Am I in the right position? But just bringing clarity, just how he put that. It's like it feels good when you know that you are in that position. So and I just encourage everyone, no matter where you at, you can make a difference. No matter what stage in life you are, new believer, older believer, you can make a difference. And the thing about it, you never know who's looking at you.
Yeah.
And so I think that keeps me going, because I may not have a one-on-one with someone, but someone may see me walk an elderly person to the car. That day I was in a game. I was doing something to fulfill God's purpose, whatever the case may be. So no matter how big, no matter how small, a lot of people look at positions and titles and stuff like that. Just take that stuff out the box. It may be a season like, what's his name, Scooter. Well,
Scooter Booter.
You may have to go sit on the bench, but that may be that may be a time of refreshing. That may be a time of learning. That may be a time of just kind of filling out where you are. It doesn't mean that you're out of the game.
Yeah.
It just means that it's a time of refreshing, and so. Those are kind of some takeaways.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Before I give my takeaway,
you want to know what happened to Scooter?
What happened to Scooter? Because that was bad.
Yeah. So Scooter is a bench player, but so he becomes vital towards the end of the endish of the movie. They actually play in the longest Little League World Series game in history. And there's a rule where the pitcher can't pitch more than X number of innings. And so they have to move Mikey out of catcher to be pitcher, and they bring Scooter Booter in as the backup catcher. But beyond that, Scooter is he's a vital part of the team. He's bringing jokes and energy and encouragement to the other players.
I love it.
Even though he's not a starting player, because there's only what, baseball's 9 positions. So there's only 9 guys on the field, and they have a team of 12. So there's 3 guys that ride the bench. But they're there to jump in when there's an injury happens, and they're there to encourage the team. They're right there with them, rallying. So Scooter Booter finds his place.
That's a good message. That's a message within itself.
Every believer has a place. You're gonna find your place. Just keep coming to practice, keep coming to the game, keep showing up. You'll find your place.
Or that's a way of staying prepared. If he wasn't even on the team, how could you put him in the team?
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Come on now, stay ready.
Yes. So my takeaway, I actually got to experience it in real life, and I'm gonna try to get through without getting emotional. But yesterday, I got a text from one of my on the first Sundays of the month, we do social media content creation days. And so my whole social media team come in and we just rock out content. One of the girls texts myself and another member. She said, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be hard for me to come in and serve today because she's experiencing some pretty traumatic things. And I was like, I'm like, well, thank you for checking in. You don't even have to come in, that is tough. So, take your time. We got this. She still showed up and rocked out the content. And it was an encouragement to me and the team to just see her push through something very traumatic and serve. Yeah. And I saw that it filled her cup and she filled our cups. So don't take your positions or just serving as something I'm just going to come do this out of obligation. Right. You never know how God want to use that serving moment to fill your cup. in those seasons where you feel like you don't have anything to give. So that was my takeaway. Just keep showing up.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the encourage one another thing. And for her, like, would the content still have been created if she hadn't shown up? Yeah, the job would have gotten done. But she needed to be around the team.
Yeah.
The team needed to be around her. Like, there's this thing that, like, sometimes, man, showing up, like, even if you don't do anything, just show up.
Show up.
Like, you just need the people. That's my final takeaway from it all is just you need to be a part of a team. And I think the more we start looking at church as a team that we belong to, more than just something that we go to, like, church isn't supposed to be a spectator sport. Like, it's not the thing. Like, worship isn't a concert. The teaching isn't supposed to just be, like watching a movie, right? Like,
or a TED Talk.
Or a TED Talk or something. Like, you're a body of Christ. You're a part of a team. And so when you start showing up to church, not just for what you get out of it, but what you have to give towards it, man, it's just amazing things happen. I think that was my favorite line in the movie. And there's a lot of great lines in the movie, but that was my favorite one when he said, I don't have a lot, but what I've learned over the years is not about what I have. It's what I give. And that's just, man, if we can all have that mentality of we just keep showing up to give, because the people around us need that. And that's true for it's like the secret to a great marriage. Like, if my goal in the marriage is to outserve my wife and my wife's goal in the marriage is to outserve me, guess what happens? Yeah. We got a healthy marriage. We're serving each other. Yeah. And so when you show up to the team and you're like, I'm going to outserve everybody else on this team, and everybody on the team has that same mentality, they're coming in, they're like, I'm just going to outserve. Man, now everybody's encouraged. Everybody's stirred up towards love and good works. Like, we're all fulfilling the one another's because we're doing this together. Yeah. And it's not about me doing everything and them watching. Yeah. It's about us doing it together. Yeah. Teams. Awesome.
So
let's go.
Yes, I hope you guys are stirred like we are. If you didn't get an opportunity, can we rewatch the
on the website?
On the website.
So Vimeo. So just so social media is just weird so what we do is legal. It's not an illegal thing that we do. It's called fair use. And it's so like all of our clips are less than 3 minutes, and we're providing commentary on things. So like it's a totally normal process. However, social media is like hyper vigilant.
Yes.
And so they have AI that will actually flag things as copyright strikes that aren't. And you just have to go through this whole well, here's why we can do it, and here's what's going on, and all that. And so in order to not have to have that fight every single week, we just don't air it on social media.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So
what I would just encourage you to do, if you can, come join us on Sunday. If you can, if you don't live in another state,
in person,
it's a great experience. And then you can always tune in on live.dc.1. You can have the full experience there. But this was a really good conversation, and the movie is good, so I encourage you to go see the movie.
It's clean. It's family friendly.
Yes,
a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go cry and watch it today.
Yes,
like we had to bleep one thing out of a clip from Sunday. And it was questionable. It wasn't even like straight up. So basically, this Texas kid says a phrase or says a word that in Spanish with a Spanish accent is definitely a cuss word. But the way he says it, it's like, was that just like Texan slang? Or was he trying to say something in Spanish? Like, we couldn't tell what he was trying to do. And so we're like, just believe it.
Just clip it. So yes, it was a good movie. We hope it encourages you. I hope this conversation inspires you and stirs you up. That is our prayer for you. If you have any questions, let us know. We would love to address it during this series at the movies. And until next time, we'll see you soon.